Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. What's going on, freaks? Did that wake you up there? I don't think there'll be more people on this one than the earlier one, but... Alright, well, we're going to go over the, I mean, I've always wanted to know what the hell the story is in the Michael Vaughan case, and I guess on the same judicial website that the Idaho 4 case is, since this case is in Idaho, they have a folder there now with files in the Michael Vaughan, Stacey, Wondra case, and one of the documents is the probable cause document. So I think we can take a look at it. Wow, look at that. It's Lillian, for God's sakes. How's it going? So I'm just going to get started on it. If you guys want to help support the channel while we're going over this, that'd be great. If not, it just is what it is. I can't make things happen. We're currently, though, if you wanted to go by the numbers, 1/20th of a nightly goal. Based on the earlier show, the two earlier shows. I did another one earlier where there was 78 people, and I just said, forget it. Not doing it. What the heck? Hey, look at that. It's already doubled everything else from today. Hey, thanks, Christine. Very cool. Very cool. Thank you. All right, so this is everybody. Does everybody? Let me just show it on the map really quick. I'm just going to do this by memory here. So his name is Michael Monkey Vaughan. He's really young. I think he was, what, like 4 or 5 years old, something like that. And he lived here, and he went outside that night. He went outside during the day, you know, like 6:40-ish, so I guess it's in the evening. And he just sort of disappeared, and everybody blamed the family, and, you know, like they always do, because they're so super sleuthy, somebody blinks the wrong way, and it's got to be one of the parents. And it was just sort of a cold case for a while, and I don't know, it seems like, I mean, I'll have to give him credit. I think Chris McDonough and some other people must have got a hold of him somehow, because I saw him on that phone call. I don't know what the full role was that they had, but he definitely was talking to him in that police body camera footage, so that was pretty, whoever, you know, anybody that helps solve a case, good for them. All right. So this is the, this house right here, like it seemed like a couple years later, 3 years even, they were looking around, digging around in this yard over here. But we still haven't really heard, like, well, what's the story behind it? Hey, thanks, Chris O'Connell. Very cool, thank you. Yeah, that's what I said, 4 or 5, yeah. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this. I mean, we covered it a long time ago for multiple days, but in the intervening years, there was like nothing happening in it. Now, they released some surveillance footage of some guy walking around, and it turns out that guy probably had nothing to do with anything. You don't recall anybody blaming the parents? You're nuts, man. I mean, you'd have to be almost oblivious or blind to not have seen that. That's all it was. Remember, you guys remember that, right? The parents got accused left and right at the beginning. Oh, look how suspicious they are. They did something. Man, if you didn't see that, you weren't watching anything. You weren't involved. You weren't following the case if you didn't see that. That's just the truth. Yeah, I mean, they had nothing to do with anything. But you guys remember, right? Those press conferences and all the sleuthy YouTubers out there. Man, it's ridiculous. Come on. You guys that are here that remember the case, don't you remember that? Over and over and over again. And the mother even had to, like, she thanked me in a video of mine because I wasn't one of those people. I mean, I don't know how you'd miss that. That's all it was for the first month, and even longer. Well, maybe you were in a normal community, Kayla Wayla, but I'm a YouTuber, so I see what's going on out there, and it was horrendous. Okay, you can ask her yourself, and look above you, up above in the comments. Yeah, it was a long time. Hey, thanks, Love Boston. Hey, maybe I should start doing 10 o'clock shows. This one's already started off way better than the last one. I don't know. Okay, anyways, let's go through this thing. I believe that there's probable cause to believe the defendant, this is regarding Stacey James Wondra, that guy that looks like Keegan Kline, James Wondra. Here, let's take a look at him. What's his name? James. I guess there's more James. Hold on. James. Stacey is what it's not James. Stacey James Wondra. So let's see one of those more recent pictures of him. Yeah, he doesn't quite look like that. Yeah, it's more like this guy right here. See that? See that big tub of crap right there? And now look at this guy right here, Keegan Kline. See that? Man, they're like two peas in a pod. Those guys should be cellmates somewhere. You wouldn't even know who the hell you were looking at. Right? Yes, I know. We know, Mel Stiller. Did you see on the screen? We got it. Don't worry about it. I believe that there is probable cause to believe the defendant committed such crimes because of the following facts. It says, you must state the source of all information provided. On July 27, 2021, neighbors reported seeing 5-year-old Michael Vaughan between approximately 6:15 and 6:30 in the area of Michael's home and nearby residence on neighbors' doors. Residence on the south. On something and South Arizona in Fruitland. So they give the name of a street. I hate when they redact too much shit like that. Who cares, man? And then it says, Michael knocked on some of his neighbors' doors, attempting to play with neighbors in their yards. Michael was told to return home by all of the neighbors he contacted. Well, you would hope that one of them would have said, let me take you home. You're 5 years old. At approximately 6:45 to 6:50 hours, Tyler Vaughan noticed, that's the father, noticed his 5-year-old son, Michael Vaughan, was missing from their home, and it gave the address, located in Payette County, Idaho. Tyler began searching his home and property for Michael. Tyler called 911 to report his son missing at approximately 7:21 hours, and the Fruitland Police Department responded to the area. Thank you, Michelle H. Fruitland Police Department and the FBI, along with other local agencies and volunteers, searched for Michael over several weeks and now years. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household members have been determined to not have any knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in they wouldn't have had to put this in here, except for the fact there was all these nut jobs saying that. Nobody would even have thought that. So they had no knowledge of Michael's current location, nor were they involved in Michael's disappearance. All of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street, is that what this is? Yeah, this is Southwest 9th Street, right here. I guess we can go down to Street View there. So this is where it was. There's a big field over off to the right there. I mean, I think it's still there. Let's see. Yeah, that's March of this year. So that's the street right there. Let's see. Let's see. Through interviews, searches, and other corroborating evidence, all of Michael's family and household, yeah, they've been cleared. And then down here it said, all of Michael's neighbors on Southwest 9th Street and Arizona have also been thoroughly investigated, searched, and interviewed, and have been determined by law enforcement to not have any knowledge or any involvement in Michael's disappearance. The surrounding area was searched extensively, and Michael has never been found. Hey, thank you so much. Carissa Cuddle. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Very kind. Do I have my... I want to hear the... Yeah, it should be on. Let's see. I'm going to hear it. This is going to be really cool, actually getting to hear what they have. This is 8 pages, and it's pretty dense like this, so we'll be able to listen to it. That's right. Anyways, live sent canine teams searched the surrounding neighborhoods August 2nd through the 3rd of 2021 using a pair of Michael's shoes for Michael's scent. Out of approximately 300 homes, canine handlers reported the dogs only showed interest in one house located at, and they don't say that one, in Fruitland. This is the home of Stacey and Sarah Wondra. Wow. So even back then, the dog hit on that house. Isn't that crazy? That's bizarre. And also reported that canine Banshee showed... hold on a second. Let me move this one over here, because I saw it earlier today. It was working on this one. I want to... Let me put that there. And I don't know. I don't know if the thing played on my... when you donate a super chat. I think it would now, but I'm not sure what was going on there. Why it wasn't playing a minute ago. Isn't that crazy? Did you guys know that? That I actually, the scent dog scented on Stacey and Sarah Wandra's house originally, like way back at the beginning of this thing. So that was on just like 5 days later. After he disappeared. Out of approximately 300 homes, canine handlers reported the dogs only showed interest in one house. And this is the home of Stacey and Sarah Wondra. A canine handler also reported that Canine Banshee showed interest in the area of the corner of Meadowlark and Redwine Street. Let's see where that is. So the canine, let's put that in there. Oh, so that's right there. Interesting. Almost like maybe he was walking in this area. So we'll put dog scented at there, and then also right over here. At the Wondras. All right. So there you go. That's crazy. So did he somehow end up walking over there, or did somebody walk him over there? Well, I mean, that'd be kind of stupid. You know, with people walking around, you know, they'd see you. Let's see. Okay, the canine showed interest in the intersection and then headed straight to the fence and front door of the Wanderers. On August 2nd, 2021, canine Banshee tracked sent down to a tree over the edge of the bluff off of Southwest 8th. All right, where is that? And by the way, this is how we do this. Southwest 8th. What's the name of Fruitland? Southwest 8th and Fruitland. I don't know. Okay. And there's a bluff at the end. That's 8th right there. Oh, right here. Interesting. So Banshee, yeah, dog scented here. Oh, by the way, my Blazers beat the Warriors tonight in Golden State. Thank you very much. Crazy win. This is the home of Stacey. Okay, right there, and then it said it showed an interest in an area of the corner of Meadowlark. Yeah, and then later, the bluff off of Southwest 8th and Three Rivers Way. 8th and Three Rivers. Is that what that other one is? Yeah. So right there. That's Three Rivers and 8th. So you know what? That kind of makes some sense. Like if you walk this direction, although his house is right there, but he could have got lost and headed over here somehow. And then, you know, you're kind of making your way up into that direction. It seems like somebody would have just seen him though, right? Canine Banshee was determined to track the scent into the thorny bushes under the tree despite the thorns. A discarded child stroller was located deep in those thorny bushes. On August 5th, 2021, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the Bluffs sign at Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th Street. During a search of the same area the day prior, the tricycle was not there. Jim Simmet, who lives in the Three Rivers subdivision, later reported that he had found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child stroller. Jim said he took it home to use one of the wheels for another project, but then discarded it after not removing the wheel as planned. Jim said he left it behind the bluff sign for neighborhood kids to use. Kim Elko would later report to law enforcement that she had seen the tricycle in the Wanderers' garage during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. let's see. Kim Elko would later report to law enforcement that she had seen the tricycle in the... Maybe they lured Michael with the tricycle. Had seen the tricycle in the Wondra's garage during a yard sale in the spring of 2021. Elko was able to describe the layout of the Wondra's garage and where she saw the tricycle on a stack of boxes. Man, that's pretty good memory. The described stack of boxes was still there during a later search warrant of the Wondra residence and garage. Dorothy Starkey, who was present at, I don't know what address it, in Fruitland, reported on July 29th, 2021 that she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, see? I bet they lured him with that. Oh, and that was right there. So that dog's scent was correct. So, man, this is... Did anybody know any of this stuff? I mean, this is crazy. Michael Vaughan seen on... Oh, yeah. By the way, I gotta go back to that previous thing to get that location on Big Wheel. Okay. And then let's go back to the previous one. On August 5th, 2021, a pink Big Flyer tricycle was located behind the Bluff sign at Three Rivers Way and Southwest 8th. And by the way, you guys, if you're out there, if you could help support the channel, we had a pretty rough day today. That'd be great to, you know, try to almost get somewhere. I think right now we're at 30%, but better than 0 like we were. Let me see. Let me go up here, put this in here. Okay, so it was over here. So same spot. So this is where the tricycle was seen. But now let's go to that next part again. So it was found. Let me go down to Street View and see if we can see what sign they're talking about. I don't know if that's what they're talking about. Under some sort of a sign. Behind the Bluffs sign at Three River Way and Southwest 8th Street. During a search of the same area the day prior, the tricycle was not there. Okay, but then it was like Jim Smith, who lives in... What matters is where he said he found it. Jim Smith, who lives in the Three Rivers subdivision, later reported that he had found the tricycle over the bluff under a tree next to a child stroller. So he did find that, like over the bluff over there. So that's interesting, isn't it? So he found the tricycle there, and then I think he threw it sort of back. Well, he put it up higher so other kids could maybe use it. Hey, thanks, Michelle H. Jim said he took it home to use, but then he didn't use it. So then Jim said he left it behind the Bluff sign for neighborhood kids to use. All right. Dorothy Starkey, who was present in Fruitland, reported on July 29th, 2021. And let's see, that is 2 days after he went missing. She said she saw Michael riding a big wheel tricycle at the corner of Red Wing Street and Meadowlark Avenue on July 27th. As she was either entering or leaving the neighborhood. Dorothy is seen on... So he maybe he got on that tricycle and was just driving all around for fun and wasn't really lured. Maybe he found the... well, let's see. When was that garage sale? Oh. Wait, so no, that was on August. Big Flyer tricycle was located. But when did he originally... When did Jim Smith originally find the... See, here's the thing, you guys. Jim Smith found the tricycle down an embankment in the same area. And then when he didn't use the wheel, he left it above so that other kids could use it. Look at, for neighbors' kids to use. And guess who used it? Michael Vaughan. So then he may have peddled into the area of a predator. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's pretty crazy if that's how it went. Yeah, because it sounds like the tricycle wasn't used to lure Michael Vaughan. Michael Vaughan merely found the tricycle, which makes sense because, you know, he lived right there and the tricycle's just right there. Crazy, huh? Okay, I know I go slow through this, but this is exactly how we do it here. So we get it all kind of just figured out as we're... Dorothy is seen on surveillance video coming into the neighborhood westbound on Southwest 8th Street at 6:25 hours and left the neighborhood eastbound on Southwest Street at 7:25. Other than Dorothy's report, there are no other reports of Michael being seen. So that they were able to prove that she actually was driving around. That's crazy, isn't it? So they see Dorothy was driving around in the area. And how does she word it, though? She says on the 27th, as she was either entering or leaving. So she doesn't know if it was either leaving or entering, but she saw Michael Vaughan on the tricycle. And then it turns out that they were able to prove that, you know, they had to verify to make sure it's likely that she's accurate. And that was at 6:25. She's seen. She left the neighborhood. She was in the neighborhood, and then at 19:25 is when she left it. So that means it fits. It's right in that window. So that's interesting. Other than Dorothy's report, there are no other reports of Michael being seen anywhere other than Southwest 9th Street and his next door neighbor's house. That's such a huge get by law enforcement because she sees him right here on a tricycle, and that's exactly where the scent dog hit, and then it hits straight over here in the yard of the Wondras. So law enforcement's had that information since the very beginning of this case. And that's they probably gave McDonough like some information about that, and then he sort of reached out somehow through his agency, or, you know, the cold case, and maybe got a hold of him, the Wondras. I don't know how that all played out, but, you know, that is pretty interesting, isn't it? The dog sent here and there. And then the fact that that lady saw him playing there is further indication that he was right there, just down the street from the Wanderer's house. Let's see. Okay, so they proved that she was there. Video surveillance was gathered from security cameras in the neighborhood Michael disappeared from, as well as the neighboring area. Michael is never seen on any of the surveillance footage that was obtained. Stacey Wondra is captured on surveillance footage driving a white Lexus and pulling into the parking area of the splash pad in the neighborhood off of Southwest 8th Street at 3:23 hours on July 27th. Off of, okay, the splash pad off of Southwest 8th. That's 8th. I'm not sure what a splash pad is, you know. Anybody know what that is? Let me see. A splash. Oh, like literally a thing with kids that they play on. Okay, so here's like over here somewhere. That's right. I remember there was some kind of like this park I have marked here. I think that's the splash pad. Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Oh, so he's already looking, scoping at kids, probably. So that's probably what this is right over here. And that's interesting. So he's right there at, let's get that in there. At 3:23. Like he's right here. 3:23 p.m. Stacey, Wondra. Right there. Okay, so he was the parking area, right? Lexus, and pulling into the parking area of the splash pad in the neighborhood off Southwest 8th Street at 3:23. So I can actually move this here to there. I wonder why I have that word vehicles there. That's sort of interesting. I think they were giving some hints to people out there. Stacey then walked back. Okay, Stacey is seen exiting the driver's door, walking around to the passenger side of the car, and appears to be testing the exterior door handle to see if it's locked. Stacey then walked back around the driver's side of the vehicle, where he got into the driver's seat and exited the area onto Southwest 8th Street at 3:24 p.m. 1 minute after arriving. So whatever he was doing there, just sort of testing the door. Video surveillance shows an adult male walking in the area, so I think that we've seen that guy, of Three Rivers Way at 6:08 hours on July 27, 2021, and the same male was captured walking in the area of the neighborhood splash pad at 6:18 hours. The last image of the male is captured at 6:28 hours as he walked through the wooded area to the west, back towards the area in which the Wondras lived. Brandon Sherliff was identified in 2022 as being this person and told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child on the date that Michael disappeared. This video captured Brandon walking prior to Michael being reported missing. Ah, that's interesting. So he wasn't looking for Michael, unless he's looking for another random kid that was missing at the same time. Let's see. This video captured Brandon walking prior to Michael being reported missing. Brandon was reported he was living with the... Brandon reported he was living with the Wondras at that time. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So what was he doing then? I think I have that on here, right? Let's write down where that guy was walking around. But hey, guys, if you can please help support the channel, that'd be great. We're hitting one of those massive lulls again. Maybe we can do a challenge of some sort. Let's see. On August 21st, 2021, Sarah reported... Okay, it's right... Where was that part? Right here. No, it's right here. Okay. Video surveillance showed an adult male walking in the area of Three Rivers Way. It feels like I marked a lot of these places. Yeah, Three Rivers Way. Oh, so that is kind of near where the tricycle was. Did he give you the other one? Three Rivers Way at 6:08 hours on July 27th, and the same male is captured walking in the area neighborhood splash pad at 6:18. All right, so he's probably, and we know what his name is, so we could probably just put it right there, and that's Brandon Sherliff. That's at 6:08 p.m. And then over here at this park, splash pad at 6:18. Yeah, I've seen all the videos. Yeah, yeah. I just don't have it right here. I don't really care. I'm just trying to get this in order. I've seen it all. Yeah, 6:18. Anybody hear what I said a minute ago? If you guys could please help support the channel. We got to keep moving here. We're had 2 shitty days this month already and got to make up for it. So if you like this kind of content, that would be awesome. Let's see. The last image of the male is captured at 8:20 or 6:28 hours as he walked through the wooded area to the west back towards the area. So how does he walk through the wooded area? Like this, kind of? I mean, what wooded area? Over here? I don't know. It's hard to make that out. The wooded area to the west back towards the area in which the Wanderers live. Brandon Shirtliff was identified in 2022 as being this person and told detectives during an interview that the surveillance video captured him as he was walking and searching for a missing child. And see, we already know that, you know, when he was walking, I mean, if you look at the time, 6:08 and 6:18, that doesn't match the time up here where, you know, at 6:45 is when Michael Vaughan went missing. So this guy is more likely somebody who noticed Michael Vaughan. Something like that. I don't know. Let's just see how it turns out. Let's see. On August 1st, 2021, Fruitland police contacted the residents in Fruitland. On their initial search of the residence, they located Adrian Lucian hiding in a closet. Residents of the home on that date, residents of the home on that date and on July 27, 2021, were identified as a married couple, Stacey and Sarah Wondra, and their sublets, Brandon Shirtliff and Adrian Lucian. All 4 were interviewed on August 1st, 2021. Adrian was vague in his statements and wouldn't commit to a solid statement. He also refused to provide his social security number for identification confirmation. He provided Stacey's phone number as his own and concealed his real phone number from law enforcement. On August 21st, 2021, Sarah reported that on July 27th, 2021, she and Stacey slept until noon. Sarah and Stacey's a guy. So Sarah reported that on July 27th, 2021, she and Stacey so that would be the day that, you know, Michael Vaughan went missing. They slept until noon. Sarah said they left their residence at around 5 o'clock to tow a vehicle to Acuna. Sarah and Stacey denied they were home at around 6:30 hours on July 27, 2021. Cell phone tower data and surveillance footage shows Sarah, Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of their neighborhood at the time Michael's disappearance. So they must have been on these people the whole time. You know, knowing that they're lying and making stuff up. Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland in Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla at 5:08 p.m., only to leave again at 5:12. The Toyota then came back into the neighborhood again at 1756. Surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC pickup on July 27, 2021, as she drove out of the neighborhood at 7:08 p.m. Stacey had been identified as the front passenger, and Brandon was the driver side rear passenger. Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon's phone data showed they were co-located as they left the neighborhood at 7:08 hours and drove to Kuna, Idaho. So did they already have Michael with them? Well, thanks again there, Chris O'Connell. You're so generous. Thank you. Only to leave again at 7, okay, we're down here, right? Surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC pickup on July 27th as she drove out of the neighborhood at 7:08. Stacey has been identified as the front passenger, and Brandon was the driver's side rear passenger. Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon's phone data show they were, together as they left the neighborhood at 7:08 and drove to Kuna. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during the evening. Well, that's interesting. If those are the ones, I mean, isn't it? See, it's weird that Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon, they were on page 3. Where was, Brandon Sherliff. So he's the one that was at the water slide. It's crazy. Hey, thanks, Christine. I guess it's the Christine and Chris O'Connell show. Thank you, guys. I absolutely love trying to go through. This is where the puzzle is. This is where you can figure stuff out, right here. Cell phone tower data and surveillance footage shows Sarah, Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of their neighborhood at the time Michael's disappearance. Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland in Sarah's blue Toyota at 5:08, only to leave again at 5:12. The Toyota then came back in the neighborhood again at 5:56. Right. And so Michael Vaughan goes missing at 6:45, and then we're looking at right here where it says surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC pickup on July 27th as she drove out of the neighborhood at 7:08. Stacey has been identified as the front passenger, and Brandon was the driver's side rear passenger. So I think Michael Vaughan's in this car with them at this time. This is 7:08. Showed that they were together as they left the neighborhood at 7:08 hours and drove to Kuna, Idaho. Well, thanks again, Christine. All right. You guys are amazing. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during the evening of July 27, 2021. However, Adrian took a selfie photo in the guest bathroom at the Wondra's residence at 7:26. Wow. Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage. Although couldn't Monkey actually be driving? Michael Vaughan could be on the tricycle in the area around this time, I guess. Possible, right? Maybe and it says Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning to their Fruitland neighborhood at 11:22 hours on July 27th. But they left the area. Wait, Wanda's... Well, so who's this Adrian guy? Now I got to go back up here again. Jesus. Who was in the pickup truck? It was Sarah, Stacey, and Adrian. Adrian's phone did not provide any location data during the evening. However, Adrian took a selfie photo in the guest bathroom at the Wanda's residence at 7:26. Well, how does that make any sense? Cell phone data up here shows that Stacey, Adrian, and Brandon were in the area of their neighborhood at the time of Michael's disappearance. And then right here it said Sarah, Adrian, and Brandon returned to Fruitland. Okay, there you go. In Sarah's blue Toyota Corolla, it's 5:08. Yeah, 5:08 hours, only to leave again at 5:12. The Toyota then came back. Okay, there you go. At 5:56. And then right over here, it's surveillance footage shows Sarah driving the maroon GMC as she drove out of the neighborhood at 7:08. Stacey, so that means Stacey and Adrian are likely at the residence now. Stacey has been identified as the front passenger and Brandon was the driver's side rear passenger. Sarah, Stacey, and Brandon's phone data show they were together as they left the neighborhood at 7:08 hours and drove to Kuna, Idaho. Well, then how did Stacey then get into the bathroom and take a photograph at 7:26? That's what was confusing me. How does that make sense? So if it's Stacey, Brandon, and Sarah go to Kuna, Idaho at 7:08, how does Brandon take a photograph in the bathroom at 7:26? I mean, I don't know how far Kuna is. However, Adrian's phone did not provide any location data. Brandon was the driver's side. Sarah... Oh, no, wait. Adrian's a different person. Never mind. So Adrian did not go with them. All right, so there's 4 people. Sarah, Stacey, Brandon. They were together, and Adrian was the guy that was hiding in the closet, right? He took a selfie in the guest bathroom at 7:26. Wondra's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning like 4 hours later at 11:22. So is Michael Vaughan in the residence with Adrian at this point? Or did they take him with them? Yeah, just follow along, true crime. Don't do your own thing here. We're just going over this. So either follow along or do whatever. And it says Wanda's maroon GMC pickup truck is captured on surveillance footage returning to their Fruitland neighborhood at 11:22. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah had a distinct change in behavior. Following Michael's disappearance, Sarah began to stand along the highway near Love's gas station in Ontario, Oregon, with signs stating to repent of your sins and that the end of time was near. I just drove through Ontario a little bit ago. Let's see. Let's find where that is. On the way to when I went to Utah. That's part of the drive. It's sort of in eastern Oregon on the very edge. So let's see. Love's gas station. Thanks, Chris O'Connell. All right, so that's not far away at all, I guess. See, man, that's so weird. I was wondering. I thought I was really close to being there. I must have driven right by it when I went through Ontario, because this right here is Fruitland, and then Oregon is literally the river right there. Yeah. And so she went to this gas station. Sarah standing with sign that said repent. Sarah's social media posts on TikTok and Facebook also changed drastically to religion and so she must have been feeling terrible. You know, she knew. And asking for forgiveness of her sins prior to Michael's abduction. Sarah had posted only approximately 11 videos on TikTok over 3 years. Following Michael's abduction, Sarah posted approximately 329 videos from September 15th, 2021 through December 24th, 2021. In TikTok videos, why didn't she post any in like July, August, September, etc.? In TikTok videos, Sarah made testimony statements regarding her involvement in criminal behaviors and stated that she had broken all 10 of the 10 commandments. Well, I shall not kill was one of them. It should be noted that there you go. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill is one of the 10 commandments. Sarah also alleged in her videos that it did not matter what sins she had committed because God had forgiven her for all of them. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen on her refrigerator in the background in some of her videos. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on... I just want to know, like, when Adrian was at the house, was Michael Vaughan with him, or was he with the other three, Brandon, Sarah, and Stacey, when they took off to go somewhere? Was he in that vehicle and they brought him back dead? Hey, look at that. It's Wild Bill Wassman, the legend. The legendary... Hold on. It's Wild Bill Wassman, the legendary bass fisherman. He's caught more large bass than Roland Martin and Bill Dance combined. All right, anyways. I digress. Yeah, so maybe we'll find that out here coming up here in a second. My eyes are so dry, it's crazy. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, like, was he with Adrian because he took a selfie in the bathroom, or, and that was at 7:26. Or maybe I should put that over here. Adrian took selfie in bathroom at 7:26. All right. I mean, I haven't gone through this whole document yet, but this is where all the cases are, man. Forget the other crap. It's the probable cause, etc. That's as good as you're going to get before a trial happens. Unless, of course, you're covering the Charlie Kirk case, and then it's all a conspiracy, everybody. The whole thing is just... let's see. It should be noted that thou shalt not kill. Michael's missing person flyer can be seen on a refrigerator in the background. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15th, 2021. Stacey was also interviewed after being confronted with the photo of her leaving the neighborhood on July 27th, 2021. I mean, I wouldn't think Adrian would be in a bathroom taking a selfie if there's like a kid tied up somewhere or something weird. We don't even know anything. Driving the GMC pickup truck. So Stacey was also interviewed after being confronted with the photo. Hold on. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15th, 2021. Stacey was also interviewed after being confronted with the photo of her. No, it's him. I mean, what do you mean her? Stacey is a guy. With the photo of him leaving the neighborhood on July 27th, 2021. Or maybe a picture of Sarah leaving the neighborhood. Hey, welcome, Wormus. Sarah was interviewed again by law enforcement on November 15, 2021. Stacey was also interviewed after being confronted with the photo of Sarah leaving the neighborhood. That's how they should have written it. On July 27, 2021, driving the GMC pickup, and she was the driver, at 7:08 hours, Sarah changed her story. Well, no, because you're talking about Stacey. Somebody made a mistake in the writing right here. Sarah changed her story and said she was driving the GMC to get Brandon's Mercedes-Benz from Kuna to tow it back to Fruitland. Sarah said the trip to Kuna to get the car had not been previously planned, and then it was Stacey who wanted to get the car at the time and date. Sarah said she stopped at Southwest 8th and South Arizona on the way out of the neighborhood to input. Let's see where that is. Southwest 8th and Arizona. Oh, man. And that's right around the time that Michael would be, riding around. It's pretty close to their house right there. So that's 7:08. I'm not really sure what I'm going to put here, but 7:08 p.m. Sarah claims to enter mapping info right there. Thanks again, Wild Bill Wassman. All right, so then said she stopped at Southwest 8th and South Arizona on the way out of the neighborhood to input the address into the GPS. Sarah said she drove to 2518 North Snowbell in Kuna, which is Brandon's mother's home. It is worth noting Brandon was in the truck with them when they entered the GPS coordinates to go to Brandon's mother's house. And that Sarah's and Brandon's cell phone data show them at the residence earlier that day. Sarah and Brandon's mother, Tina Morell, was out of town. Sarah said Tina did not allow Brandon to have people in her home when she was not there. So Sarah and Stacey parked down the road, and Brandon used a back gate on the south side to enter Tina's residence so that her doorbell camera did not capture. Oh, I see. So that means you have Michael Vaughan with you at this point, and you're trying to come up with an alternate reason that you avoided the surveillance camera. Sarah reported that while towing the car back to Fruitland, the tow strap, man, what an unlucky day for these people. The tow strap broke. Sarah and Stacey Wondra sold their phones. Sarah and Stacey Wondra sold their phones, lost or sold their vehicles, and got rid of their furniture shortly after Michael went missing. So that means he was in the house. But where did they have time to do something to him? I mean, it's weird because they leave at 7. Well, let's see. No, they returned and then they left at 7. So I guess there is time, but not much. I mean, you're looking at like 20 minutes or something. Sarah and Stacey Wondra sold their phones, lost or sold their vehicles, and got rid of their furniture shortly after Michael went missing. Sarah was asked about changing her phone following Michael's abduction. Sarah provided 2 reasons. Sarah said they sold their phones because she and Stacey were splitting up, and Sarah and they sold their phones because a demon told her so. Sarah was still paying on the phones that she sold. Sarah was asked about her Facebook post and provided the following responses. I literally had like a demon tell me that I need to leave my husband. I literally deleted all of my pictures. I have no idea of what my passwords are. Okay. So the reason law enforcement can't check out your phone is because of a demon, not because you're trying to hide something. I literally deleted all my pictures, because the demon told me to. We had a fight, my husband and I, to sell our phones, and we had to get new phones, and I can't access any of my stuff. So I do have Facebook, just don't have access to it right now. When asked about the vehicle Sarah and Stacey have, Sarah said the GMC pickup was repossessed. Sarah said she told Stacey when they heard the repo guys were coming to take the truck, "We are going to be the nicest repo they have today." Law enforcement was later told that the truck appeared to have been thoroughly cleaned prior to the repo. So, yeah, they had him in that truck then. I mean, shit. Man, what the hell happened? Following the interview on November 15th, 2021, Brandon reported Sarah and Stacey contacted him. So Brandon's the guy that was walking around. Sarah and Stacey contacted him and told him they were re-interviewed about Michael's abduction. Brandon and I think all these people should be charged with something. Brandon and Stacey suggested Brandon come over to their place and create an alibi or write a letter on behalf of Sarah and Stacey saying that they were not involved in Michael's abduction. Maybe the rest of them cut a deal. Let's see. Oh, that's okay, Wild Bill. Thanks for your support. Thanks for showing up. I know it was a late one tonight. I did an earlier show this evening, and I had there was 50 people. I have more people watching this late night one than was watching that one. And it was crazy. It was like a ghost town. It was wild. Nobody was typing. Just nothing. So, and just to give you the other information is that in the, Anna Kepner case, determined that she was strangled, with the forearm. I was just on that show, I started to go through all the information, and it was just so dead. I just go, you know what, you guys? I might come on later. So I came on at 10:30, man, and it was almost a normal show, really. Where, we didn't quite get to the goal or anything, but, got close, 80, 79, 75%. Not bad. All right, following the interview on November 15th, Brandon reported Sarah and Stacey contacted him and told him they were re-interviewed about Michael Vaughan's abduction. Brandon said Stacey suggested Brandon come over to their place and create an alibi or write a letter on behalf of Sarah and Stacey saying that they were not involved in Michael's abduction. Tina Morrell, Brandon Shirtlift's mother, was interviewed by law enforcement. Tina reported that Brandon's behavior changed after he lived with the Wondras. Tina explained that Brandon became more depressed and withdrawn, spending more time playing video games and smoking marijuana. Tina would not tell law enforcement where Brandon was or what his phone number was at the time. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture of the tricycle described. Okay, so Sarah's mother. Kay claimed she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. Let's see. Kay Ramsey, Sarah's mother, was interviewed and shown a picture. Why would you show her a picture of the tricycle? Kay claimed she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. The bushes that Kay described are near where Mr. Smith found the tricycle. She found the tricycle in some bushes. The same place. I don't really get this part. Kay said that would be the reason. Oh, I see. She's helping Sarah out. This is bullshit. Kay claims she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to Michael's abduction. The bushes that Kay described are near where Mr. Smith found the very same tricycle just after Michael's abduction. Kay said That would be the reason her DNA, okay, would be on the tricycle. Kay said that after all of that effort, she left it at the intersection of Three Rivers. What do you mean, all of that effort? She left it at the intersection of Three Rivers Way and South 8th Street. Kay was 73 years old in July of 2021, and the bushes were very difficult to get to. What the hell are they talking about? That's just right here, you know. It's not like it's what bushes? What are you guys talking? Oh, right here. Was it like in the corn or you know, there's not really. I mean, I guess if you went over here somewhere. I mean, what's the deal with all these people touching the bicycle? I mean, isn't that a little bit confusing? The bicycle part? I mean, the tricycle? The hell are you guys talking about? So Mr. Smith found the bicycle down an embankment. He took it home to take a wheel to use for something, and then it didn't work out, so then he brought the bicycle and he set it right there on the street for people to use. And now the mother of Sarah, Wondra, is saying she claims she found the tricycle in some bushes prior to. You know, that must be, she's making this shit up from a conversation she had with Sarah. I think that's what's happening. It just doesn't make any sense. Kay Ramsey also confirmed to law enforcement that Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug in the backyard of the Red Wing residence. Red Wing, is that this one? Man, this is Red Wing. God dang it. Red Wing. Where is it? Oh, right there. Okay, that is that one. It also says Mallard Street. See, that's the problem. So that's Red Wing right here. Law enforcement and Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes. See, yeah, this mom's just trying to protect the daughter here. She's making all this shit up. Kay Ramsey also confirmed to law enforcement that Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes in the backyard of Red Wing's residence. Kay reported the dog had dug up what she later determined to be the ear of a green. Okay, so maybe she's not doing that. I don't understand the tricycle part, you guys. That doesn't make any sense. Kay reported the dog had dug up what she later determined to be the ear of a green stuffed animal. Kay said she had thrown away the stuffed ear. Kay Ramsey is alleged to have withheld information or evidence in other criminal investigations. Okay, so that does seem like. Okay, so that's all made up shit. You know, there's no ear of a little stuffed animal. There's none of this stuff. This is all just complete garbage here. She's just trying to protect her child and pretending that, oh, the holes that were dug, yeah, that was from, if you see a little part of the yard that looks dug up, that was from the dog, and then it dug up this little stuffed animal, and I don't know where I put it. Then Kay initially concealed a firearm used in an aggravated assault in which Sarah was later convicted. So, there you go. They're talking about another. Kay Ramsey is alleged to have withheld information or evidence in other criminal investigations involving Sarah in 2022. I guess that's neck. That was later. Then Kay initially concealed a firearm used in an aggravated assault in which Sarah was later convicted. When law enforcement met with Sarah on October 12, 2022, Sarah said God told her he was going to help her find the boy. During the interview, at the first mention of Michael, Sarah became emotional and broke down crying in front of the detective. Sarah wrote a testimony and said that if law enforcement read it, they would locate Michael. Sarah suggested God had forgiven Hitler for his sins, that God had redeemed Sarah for her sins. Hey, thanks, Christine. You know, if we get another 10 memberships total, we'll actually make our minimum goal level. That'd be pretty sweet. No, I don't want to use the link. I just want to go over this. Anyways, so let's see. It said, I'm not even sure what you're talking about, man. What do you mean it's brandy and cornfield? What does that even mean? I have no idea what you're talking about. You gotta write a better sentence. We're just going over the probable cause, okay? If I want to look at that later, maybe I'll add it. All right, anyways, it says, when law enforcement met with Sarah on October 12th, Sarah said God told her. Sarah became emotional and broke down crying once Michael Vaughan's name was mentioned. Sarah suggested God had forgiven Hitler. Christy Kutch told detectives prior to Sarah's arrest, April of 2022, she made a statement about Stacey being involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. Christy said she made personal notes of their conversation. Let's see. Christy Kutch told detectives prior to Sarah's arrest. I mean, who's Christy Kutch? April 20th. She made statements about Stacey being involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. So that Christy was told by Sarah that Stacey Wondra abducted a 5-year-old. Christy said she made personal notes of their conversation. In June of 2022, there was a recorded jail phone call between Sarah and Christy where Sarah advised Stacey. Let's see, there was a phone call between Sarah and Christy where Sarah advised Stacey had been arrested. Okay, so Sarah told Christy that Stacey was arrested. Hey, thanks, Chris O'Connell. I was hoping some other people would help out. You've already helped out so much. It's incredible. Thank you. So now we just need 5 more of those. Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about, true crime. We're not talking about anything that you mentioned above. I mean, it's just like classic you guys. You always interrupt and put stuff in there that's absolutely unrelated. It's just amazing. Let's see. Chris, you're so kind. And then you know what? I even read it as so kind, Christine. She did say, is there any takers for the other 5? Christy asked if he had been charged with the kidnapping of a 5-year-old boy. Sarah recanted. Okay, let's see. Christy said she made personal notes of their... Okay, I'm going to start up here again. Christy Kutch told detectives prior to Sarah's arrest she made a statement about Stacey involved in the abduction of a 5-year-old boy. Christy said she made personal notes of their conversation. In June of 2022, there was a recorded jail phone call between Sarah and Christy where Sarah told Christy that Stacey had been arrested. Christy asked if he had been charged with the kidnapping of a 5-year-old boy. Sarah, so let's see. Christy asked if he had been charged. I mean, so she must have then had another conversation with Stacey. with kidnapping a 5-year-old boy. Sarah recanted her prior statement, claiming that Christy misunderstood her prior comment. Also mentioned was how Sarah's dog was digging large holes in the backyard. So that one matches the mother's fake statement. They must have worked on those together. Yes, you guys, because of Chris O'Connell's amazing support tonight, do you think you guys could match her last Vive so we can reach the minimum goal in here tonight? That would be awesome. I mean, without her and Christine and I guess like Wild Bill Wassman, I guess, we'd have like nothing tonight. So that would be fantastic. Let's see. On November 5th, 2022 at 12:55 a.m., Stacey contacted Fruitland Police and requested an interview at the Washington County Jail. Stacey Wondra. Stacey provided vague details about events surrounding Michael's abduction. Stacey said Sarah's religious beliefs and behavior change started within a couple of days after Michael's abduction. After Stacey's arrest for an unrelated incident, Stacey spoke of changing phones and or SIM cards to prevent law enforcement to follow or profile him. On November 10th, 2022, Stacey again asked to speak with Fruitland police detective. Stacey wanted a deal, the same offer that was given to Sarah in the Michael Vaughan case. And what deal was that? Stacey admitted Michael had been in his house the night of Michael's abduction. So Stacey admitted Michael had... Oh my God, he's admitting that he was in their house. That's crazy. Look at that. So right here it says Stacey wanted the deal, the same offer that was given to Sarah in the Michael Vaughan case. Stacey admitted Michael had been in his house the night of Michael's abduction. Stacey admitted the tricycle had been in his garage where Kim Elko had previously described seeing it. Jesus. Stacey then said that when he first saw Michael, Stacey said when he first saw Michael, Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacey said Michael was put into a duffel bag. I mean, is it possible that they just ran him over or something? Accidentally? Or, like, what was he doing? Okay, let's see. Sarah was carrying Michael into their home. Stacey said Michael was put into a duffel bag to transport him out of their house and to Brandon's house in Kuna. See, they did have him in that car. Maybe, if the story is true, but it sounds like it. Stacey said Sarah was frantic, trying to figure out what to do, and Brandon interjected, "I have a duffel bag." Stacey described Michael as crying, and to prevent him... Oh, so he was alive. Yeah, he's not even trying to make up some story. Stacey described Michael as crying, and to prevent him from moving or making noise, Stacey described how Sarah taped Michael using duct tape. When asked who put Michael in the bag, Stacey said Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag open as they shoved Michael in the duffel bag. Jesus. It's hard to tell, like, why would he, I mean, I don't know. It sounds like he started trying to tell the truth a little bit. It's hard to say for sure, but like in that one body camera footage, it did seem like he was trying to give information. Thanks, Christine. Any 4 more of those, you guys? And it's okay if you guys can't do it. I just appreciate you guys being here tonight, and we made a gallant effort to almost try to reach the goal on a night that had almost no shot earlier. let's see. And by the way, when I say goal, if you're somebody who doesn't watch my channel, I try to raise super chats and etc. every single night because my channel needs an income to survive. And then I also, at the end of the month, donate thousands of dollars, usually based on ad revenue, etc. This month, the ad revenue is almost nothing. My videos, for some reason, out of nowhere, just aren't being watched at all. Like 1,500 views, terrible, So, I need your guys' support when you're watching the show. But tonight's already sort of a bonus. I just barely even thought of coming on. But hell, maybe I can start doing these later shows. It's kind of a whole different crowd. Okay, so let me just say, using duct tape. When asked who put Michael in the bag, Stacey said Brandon grabbed the bag and gave it to Sarah. Sarah picked up Michael as Adrian helped hold the sides of the bag. So he's trying to include everybody. Bag open as they shoved Michael in the duffel bag. Stacey described Michael was wiggling, trying to get away. Stacey said he could see Michael in the bag with his knees bent up in fetal position. While describing and demonstrating how Michael was taped and stuffed in the duffel bag in his living room, Stacey had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. When asking if he was vomiting because of the chewing tobacco he was using, he indicated that he was throwing up because of the stress of talking about Michael. Hey, look at that. Hey, it's 8675309, whose birthday was a little bit ago that we... Hold on. Where's that one? Hey, I'm a warrior. And there you go. There you go. For now. For now. You know what it says. There you go. Ron Pexa. Yeah. Hey, I'm a ooh, warrior. That's so weird. Whenever I think of that song, it always brings me back mentally to years ago when we were covering that case. It's just the Hart family. That one was crazy. So he's wiggling, trying to get away. Stacey said he could see Michael in the bag with his knees bent in the fetal position. While describing and demonstrating how Michael was taped and stuffed into the duffel bag in his living room, Stacey had a physical reaction and began violently vomiting. When asked if he was vomiting because of the chewing tobacco he was using, he indicated that he was throwing up because of the stress of talking about Michael. He didn't even use the tobacco. Stacey provided two reasons they stopped in GMC. Okay, let's see. Stacey provided two reasons they stopped in the GMC at the corner of Southwest 8th and South Arizona in Fruitland. For Stacey to put power steering fluid, okay, now it's power steering, not the driving, the mapping, in the vehicle, and two, so Brandon could check to see if Michael was still alive, because Michael was bound with duct tape and stuffed into the duffel bag in the bed of the truck. Wow. So that's why they stopped there. So I believe that story. Sarah said that they stopped because she had to put the mapping information in there. Man, Stacey said he was able to hear Michael making noises like a dull scream, like, like how that would go at the... Stacey said they were worried about being seen. It was like, like screaming like that. Said they were worried about being seen because they saw a car parked off South Arizona. Stacey said, so I actually feel like Stacey's telling the truth in these. Stacey said they drove straight to Brandon's mother's house in Kuna, Idaho, where Brandon grabbed both bags, the duffel containing Michael and a backpack, and went into the house by himself. Sounds like Sarah got a great deal and didn't deserve to have one. And went into the house by himself. Stacey said that once they arrived in Kuna, Michael was not making any more noises, and none of them had checked on Michael to verify if he was still alive. But, you know, that could be made up stuff. Like maybe he was already dead and they took him. Stacey said that Brandon told him he left Michael in the bag and put him in the spare room inside his mother's house. I don't know if like Michael Vaughan was ever buried in the backyard of Stacey Wondra's house. I don't know. Stacey said that Brandon told him or maybe he was, and this is an attempt to misdirect away from there. At the time, this was, I don't know. Stacey said that Brandon told him he left Michael in the bag and put him in the spare room inside his mother's house. They then, we don't do all these random emojis, man. Not sure what that means. They then towed Brandon's car back to Fruitland. Stacey said that Sarah, Brandon, and Adrian went to Kuna the next day to get Michael. Oh, so it was in that closet. The three of them brought Michael's body back to their house in Fruitland. He stated that he was in, that's crazy because there must have been cops all over the place looking for Michael at the time. Man, I wonder if this is on surveillance. The three of them brought Michael's body back to their house in Fruitland. He stated that he was inside. Brandon was on guard, and Sarah and Adrian dug the hole together. Stacey reported he did not previously report this information because he thought he would still get into trouble and because he was fearful of Sarah hurting him. In an interview, Stacey stated that Michael had a stuffed animal. Yeah, well, oh, really? Huh. Well, this kind of matches what her mother said. Some sort of stuffed animal, I want to say, like a dinosaur or monkey. And what I saw was a monkey, was a green, and looked like a green monkey. In one interview, Stacey advised the lime green monkey was a dog toy that he and Sarah gave. Let's see. In an interview, Stacey advised the lime green monkey was a dog toy that he and Sarah gave Michael to keep him quiet while he was sitting on the couch in their living room. But why was he there? You know, why was he in your house? I mean, where's the answer to some of these things? And guess what? You guys were only one membership away from reaching the minimum goal. Or actually, yeah, for the day. I'm including the other show earlier. Additionally, Stacey stated that the idea to take a child... Oh, well, here's the answer. Additionally, Stacey stated the idea to take a child to sell for money was Adrian's. So that's the guy that was just sitting at home and he took that selfie. Why would he do that? And they would get a $10,000 cut. Hey, thanks, Lisa Valenzuela. Stacey was asked if Sarah provided any direction throughout any part of this. Stacey said that Sarah asked him and Brandon to follow her lead, which was to take the kid. Stacey recalled that most of the so he died before he could sell him. This is just... Stacey recalled that most of the conversation at that point was Sarah trying to figure out what they were going to do. Sarah had asked Brandon where should where we should put the body. And Brandon was like, well, you guys can take him over to my house, and we'll deal with it. And that will buy us some time. Why would they bring Michael's body back to the place where everybody's searching? Doesn't that just seem weird? Like, you put him in your mother's house. Why didn't you go back to your mother's house and then drive 80 miles into the woods somewhere? I mean, I just don't really understand the... I mean, these people are idiots. I mean, it just shows you that these people are stupid. Hey, True Crime, can you just quit your... You know, we just talked about it, okay? We don't need to keep listening. I know. We all know you're the expert here. Okay? You know it way better than the rest of us. Let's see. We just read that part. All right, there we go. We can just have a normal, peaceful show. Let's see. Following the interview with law enforcement, Stacey called... Okay, additionally, Stacey stated that the idea... I'm going to read that part again. To take a child to sell for money was Adrian's, and they would get a $10,000 cut. Stacey was asked if Sarah provided any direction throughout any part of this. Stacey said that Sarah asked him and Brandon to follow her lead. So, like, she's the mastermind, which was to take the kid. Stacey recalled that most of the conversation at that point was Sarah trying to figure out what they were going to do. Sarah had asked Brandon where we should put the body, and then Brandon was like, well, the guys can take him over to my house, and we'll deal with it. And that will buy us some time. Following his interview with law enforcement, Stacey called his mother, Tamara Johnson, from the Washington County Jail on a video visit. Tamara asked Stacey if Michael was alive. Stacey shook his head no and said Sarah accidentally killed him. Tamara asked how. Stacey said suffocation and went on to say they buried him in a duffel bag. So what'd they do? Put duct tape all over his face, etc.? I mean, that's crazy. So that's interesting because it sounds like Stacey's kind of telling the truth, doesn't it? After an interview and phone call to his mother, Stacey wrote an apology letter to Michael's parents and then attempted to hang himself in his jail cell, but he was rescued by Washington County Jail staff. Wow. It should be noted that during some part of Stacey's incarceration in the Washington County Jail, prior to his confession and directions on where to find Michael's body, Sarah was out of custody and living back at the house on Red Wing Street. Oh, man. As evidenced by her being... Oh, so she must have moved the body. That's when she did that. Evidenced by her being there when law enforcement arrived to execute the search warrant. Sarah could have had the time and the ability to move, there you go, move any evidence from the property without Stacey's knowledge. So Stacey thought the body was buried, and you see it in the body camera. He thought the body was buried in a certain spot, but it wasn't there. So it's possible that Sarah, had it moved, and Stacey didn't know. What's totally an accident? I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it is sort of interesting. Like, if they were really meant to sell Michael Vaughan, then the suffocation was an accident. Although, I don't know. Are we really believing on any of that stuff? I don't know what the real purpose was. In June of 2022, Sarah called Ray Ramsey from jail and spoke about spouses being able to testify against each other. In a recorded phone call from Washington County Jail, Sarah to Stacey expressed concern that Sarah was going to turn on Stacey. Sarah confirmed that Stacey was referring to Michael Vaughan. Sarah told Stacey that she had already told her attorney that she wasn't going to turn on Stacey and that she wasn't going to testify against him. Stacey then reassured Sarah he'd never testify against her. As a search warrant was executed on at their residence, Stacey described the exact location as to where to find, that's on that body camera, where to find Michael's buried in the backyard of the residence. He instructed detectives through video chat. Sarah Wondra, who was located in the residence at the time, was detained. As officers read her the search warrant, Sarah made several strange statements. Wow, that is a lot. I definitely did not kill that boy. The Most High God already told me who did it. So, oh wow, the Most High God just told me that Stacey was the one who killed him and buried him in the yard of Carson's house. She also said the Most High God told her Stacey was the one that killed him and he buried him. The Most High God just told me that Stacey was one who did it. He wants me to make sure you just understand that I had nothing to do with it. He said that Stacey buried him in the backyard by the shed. It wasn't actually Stacey who harmed the boy. As officers started to search the residence, Sarah asked several times if the officers had found him yet. Idaho State Police and Ada County Sheriff's Office assisted with the execution of the search warrant at the Wondra residence, along with the 5 separate certified cadaver canines. Prior to officers digging in the backyard of the Wondra's residence, cadaver canines were deployed and alerted in the backyard of that address. A total of 5 certified cadaver canines were deployed, and all 5 alerted inside the Wondra's backyard in the approximate area of where Stacey claimed he witnessed Sarah and Adrian bury Michael. I know. So they were smart enough later, criminal wise to get rid of them. Are you guys still even here? I mean, Wormsy typed in totally an accident like 20 minutes ago. Yeah. Prior to, let's see, a total of 5 certified cadavers were deployed and all 5 alerted inside the Wondra backyard in the approximate area where Stacey claimed he witnessed Sarah and Adrian bury Michael. Neither Michael nor any human remains were located during the execution of the search warrant. Prior to excavating the backyard, law enforcement noted there were several areas in the yard that appeared to have been filled in with dirt or resodded. Kay and Ed Ramsey reported that they had filled in areas of the yard where Sarah and Stacey's dog had dug holes. There you go. See, that's the story that Sarah and her mom said about why there's these little dirt patches in there. But that never happened, So that's crazy. At various interviews after the disappearance, the disappearance of Michael Vaughan, Stacey was asked what happened to his and Sarah's cell phones from July of 2021. Stacey said Sarah wanted to detract attention so we are not on the radar, and that was the reason they sold the phones. When asked if there was evidence of the crime on these phones, Stacey said there were text messages. Investigation revealed that the Wondras changed their phones approximately 3 times in 5 months period. Stacey described purchasing SIM cards to put in his cell phone to evade law enforcement. The GMC pickup was subsequently repossessed for non-payment. Stacey then called Kim's Cars. That's a person's name. Stacey then called Kim's, and then Kars, wanting the truck back or to borrow it. He also told them to hurry up and sell it. Stacey further advised that they sold the Lexus they had at the time Michael was abducted. Within a few weeks of Michael's disappearance, the Wondra's iCloud data revealed Stacey and Sarah searched for rental houses in other states, financial assistance in different areas. Additionally, a photo of items boxed up was taken on July 30th, 2021. So the thing is Sarah and perhaps one of the other two people, Adrian or Brandon, they know where Michael Vaughan was buried. I mean, at least Sarah does. And they still haven't found Michael. In summation, Stacey confessed that the four members of the household, Stacey Wondra, Sarah Wondra, Branda Shirtliff, and Adrian Lucian, were all involved in the abduction and killing of Michael Vaughan. Their home is in the neighborhood adjacent to the home where Michael lived and was last seen. The neighbor, Dorothy Starkey, saw Michael riding a tricycle near the Wondra home at the time Michael went missing. Isn't that sad? So that tricycle that was just put out there, Michael Vaughan just got on it and started riding around because he thought it was fun. And then these idiots abducted him. The neighbor, Dorothy Starkey, saw Michael riding a tricycle near the Wondra home at the time Michael went missing. That same tricycle was seen in Wandra's garage prior to the abduction. Well, that's interesting, though, isn't it? Like, how did that other person, prior to the abduction, but then there was that other person that left the bicycle. I don't get that either now. That doesn't make any sense. That tricycle was discarded. Okay, let's see if it explains it better here. Michael was riding. Okay, let me just start a better sentence there. Their home is in the neighborhood adjacent to the home where Michael lived and was last seen. The neighbor, Dorothy Starkey, saw Michael riding the tricycle near the Wondra home at the time Michael went missing. The same tricycle was seen in the Wondra's garage prior to the abduction. I thought it was after. That tricycle was discarded. Oh, okay. Outside the neighborhood. Okay, so that other neighborhood, it was after all this. Okay. That tricycle was discarded outside the neighborhood off a bluff after Michael went missing. So that means they must have used that bicycle as a lure now. So it wasn't that he was just riding it around randomly. That's crazy. So that means they used the tricycle to lure Michael Vaughan. Like, hey, come ride it over here, you know? Because it was in his yard, and then they discarded it down that bluff. And then the mother tried to help Sarah by saying, oh, yeah, I put it over there, but that didn't make any sense because the other person had already, he said he left it out there. That part's still a little dicey where, the other guy said he left it out for kids to use. But he'd found it after it was already used to lure Michael Vaughan, so I guess that makes sense. Wow, this is crazy. Kay Ramsey, Sarah Wondra's mother, claimed to have found it and moved it to the entrance of the neighborhood, which is refuted by the fact that another neighbor... Yeah, there you go. See, this is exactly like what we've determined right here. So here we go. Let's just go this part again. That same tricycle was seen in Wanda's garage prior to the abduction. That tricycle was discarded outside the neighborhood off a bluff after Michael went missing. Kay Ramsey, Sarah Wondra's mother, claimed to have found it and moved it to the entrance of the neighborhood, which is refuted by the fact that another neighbor, unrelated to the case, claimed to have found it and placed it there. Kay's story also does not account for the fact that the tricycle was in the house before being discarded and before Michael went missing. Live scent track dogs were deployed, and the only house they showed interest in was the Wondra house. The same dogs showed interest in the area where Michael went missing from, and also where he was seen. Yeah, there it is. Went missing from, and the area where the tricycle was discarded. Based on the foregoing, your affiant is requesting that Stacey Wondra be charged with kidnapping and murder in the first... What about the rest of them? Murder in the first degree, as well as the concealment of evidence. Jesus. I mean, what about the other ones? I mean, that is just... what a crazy... I don't think they still have answers really to what the why was. You know? Like, what these people just... Hey, we need some money. I mean, what, they already had connections with people to sell a kid? I would imagine that's kind of complicated. You know, I just don't understand how that all went down. I think it was more like, and I don't even think that that they put him in a bag and duct tape. I think he was already dead. That story was made up to seem like they had less nefarious, you know, even though it's horrendous. They wanted to seem like, well, we didn't mean to kill him. That part was an accident. So I think that's all just made up shit. I think that they killed him. There's no proof we'll ever have that he had duct tape on unless somebody reveals where he is. You know, why they took him out of the house, we don't know what they did. Maybe they took pictures and did weird shit and put it out there on, you know, Discord servers or on Telegram or some shit like that. Maybe that's what they did. And they killed him. Why they brought him back to Stacey Wondra's house is beyond me. I mean, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. Or did they? You know, I mean, the dogs did scent back there on, you know, cadaver dogs. Anyways, did you guys find that interesting? I did. I hope you guys don't mind the slow way that we go through it, because I think the way I do it slowly, instead of just reading it really fast, you get all the nuance stuff and you work through these little minutia points and you go, oh, okay. And then you can put it all together. I think it's better that way. What do you guys think? Yeah, those other three absolutely need to be charged. I don't know what... Did they have deals, all of them, just to get Stacey? They all seem like they're all part of the same thing. Yeah, I didn't know a lot of this stuff, but we go through these probable cause really slowly and methodically so that as you're going through it, and then you go through it again, and you might go through it again, you know, then you absolutely have it nailed down where it's just, it makes sense. Like right now, it makes a lot more sense than it had. It sounds like police were having the same issues in logic going through it, just like we did, and at the end they clarified the points that didn't make sense. And you know. So anyways, wow, thanks guys for getting to the golden night. We had Christine give 5 memberships, and then Chris O'Connell gifted 5, and then Love Boston, and then Michelle H, and then Chris O'Connell did a cat eye donation, then Michelle H gifted another one, then Chris O'Connell gifted another 5, then Christine, and then Christine again, and then Chris O'Connell, and then Wild Bill Wassman, Wormus became a member, and then Wild Bill Wassman, Christine, Chris O'Connell, Christine, 8675309, and Lisa Valenzuela. So special thanks to Christine and Chris O'Connell, because I think they made up about 80% of the entire night again. So thank you guys. Really appreciate it. Yeah, you like my style? All right. How long have you been a member here, Chris O'Connell? Seems like a while.
You know, my brother, you know, sometimes I eat popcorn. Oh, I got a coffee too? Oh, didn't even see that. Hadn't got a coffee in so long, I quit looking. Well, thank you, Chris O'Connell, for the coffee. Very kind, very kind. Got me like a half a can of coffee. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure, what was I about to say there? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, like sometimes I eat popcorn. And my brother, the one that passed away in 1986, he used to eat popcorn, but he'd really focus in on, you know, when there's just the little kernels left at the very end? He would always like to eat the one that was almost popped. You know, he would spend all the time and just looking for that one, you know. The one that was like half popped, but so it's not really hard and you can kind of crunch into it. Yeah. Somebody should have invented how to half pop a pop. He would have bought those. He would have kept that company in business. Oh, yeah, I thought you had been watching for a long time. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support, man. Some of these last, you know, few, I don't know, it's been really difficult in here lately. It just feels like really fortunate. You know, we actually had 100 people watching. That's not too bad for 12 o'clock at night, I would think. Yeah, well, thanks for that coffee. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. Let's see, that was hour and 52 minutes. Other show earlier wasn't really that long either. They didn't give... I love... Remember that? Grape Bullion. Grape Bullion, man. I remember that. Man, it was like... I remember, I think it was about 1970... God, it must have been 76 or 5 or something like that, where... Might have been, let's see, 70... So 70, 80, 79, 78. So like 76 or 77. Remember that? When there was Bubble Yum, the Grape Bubble Yum came out, man. If you had a piece of that, you could sell it for $5. It was like the craziest thing in the world. It was so rare to get it. Oh my God. And when you ate it, when you ate a piece of that, it just felt like you won the lottery or something. It was crazy. Oh yeah, 107, huh? Okay. Well, we only have 100 now, but it... I think everybody's pretty tired. There you go. See, it was 1975. Okay. That's what my original thought was. Yeah, I think 76. I was... Let's see. Yeah, so it would be 79, 78, 77, 70. Yeah, so it was like... Yeah, probably... I think I was in... Let's see, 5th grade or something like that. Oh, come on. Bubble Yum, I had that sweeter taste to it, make those big bubbles. Yeah, Bazooka's pretty good too. Got those little comics with it. That was good. Yes, that's we're giving away the age when we're talking about that. But anyways, I want to say thanks to everybody for being here tonight. You know, hit that like button if you could. That'd be great. We only got 57 likes. What an embarrassment. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. And who knows what tomorrow will bring. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys later. And, as I always say, until next time... Be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person.
Not even one?
That is a
Not even one.
crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a
Certified human lie detector.
Gonna get ya,
Gonna get ya.
if you try and play me like an old
Projector.
Crime sector
Is my nectar.
Professor Gregor's gonna give another
Lecture.
lecture. Crime collector,
Lector.
freak connector,
Nectar.
and I'm always gonna be a
A
puppet
protector.
fool deflector,
Flector.
interceptor.
Scepter.
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector
Vector.
on his
Vector.
spectre. With all respect,
Vector.
just remember I've a temper fucking
Injection. I have no agenda. I'm a pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender.
And in
The
the
end,
end,
I'm gonna send you on a mission to reveal the truth and die.
get right back to it. Everybody, talk to you.
Oh my God, Mary Lou, that was terrible.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Stupid is being nice.
You're in.
You're an absolute moron.
Hey, that isn't very nice, Gray. Hey, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up tonight to Grant Hughes Investigates, where we discuss true crime, or at least Gray does, using logic and common sense to work through the cases. Thank you very much for watching.
And until next time, be safe out there.